It has been made accessible by the Senate that an official version of the draft of the framework for the crypto market that was developed by both parties. This is a crucial step toward building a legal framework that is open and transparent for the trading of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin in the United States. It is important to note that if Bitcoin and other large crypto assets are subject to the regulation of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC, then they will be regarded as commodities rather than securities. This is a huge consequence. The outcome of this will be the establishment of clear norms, the facilitation of access to exchanges, a rise in institutional capital, and a genuine market structure. This is the kind of regulatory clarity that occurs prior to inflows of significant amounts of money that continue for an extended length of time. We would like to extend a hearty welcome to all of the XRP holders who have joined the ZX channel of the cryptocurrency. For the purpose of ensuring that you are informed of all that is taking place across the board at the present, I would like to provide you with an extra update as of Monday, November 10, by providing you with this information. Additionally, I am providing you with an update on the price of XRP, which I will discuss further below. I am providing you with this information at this time. You will note that there is a significant amount of green on the board. If you take a look at it in its entirety, there are a few handfuls of coins that are currently experiencing a decline, but the vast majority of coins are currently seeing a significant increase. When it comes to the coins that are currently struggling to maintain their value, you are aware that there is a tiny trend that can be observed in this regard. During the period in which the market as a whole was retracing its EPS, these coins were heading in the direction of being higher. It is now feasible to observe that a percentage of the earnings are being allocated to some of the alternative cryptocurrencies, and this phenomenon is apparent across the board. This is a phenomenon that is observable. In contrast, the price of XRP has increased by around 6.7%, and it is currently trading at $2.53. This represents a significant increase. To put that into perspective, the price of Bitcoin has increased by 7%, and its valuation has risen to more than $150 billion. To be more explicit, the trading volume for the 24-hour period is 6.1 billion, which represents a gain of $2 billion over the course of the most recent, I would say, a few hours. During the time that this update was being recorded, the overall value of the market was recorded to be 151.3 billion. Before we go any further, however, I would want to issue a brief disclaimer. The content that is presented on this channel is not meant to be construed as financial advice in any way, shape, or form. If you are thinking about investing in cryptocurrencies, you should always make sure to do your own research and make sure you feel comfortable with the decision. Today, the United States Treasury and the Internal Revenue Service, IRS, issued new guidelines that give cryptocurrency exchange-traded products, ETPs, with a clear manner to stake digital assets and share staking winnings with their retail investors. These recommendations were published in order to enhance the transparency of the cryptocurrency market. Deputy Secretary of the Treasury Scott Bessent was the one who made this judgment. As a consequence of this action, the advantages for investors are enhanced, the rate of innovation is accelerated, and the United States continues to be the global leader in blockchain technology and digital asset technology. One could say that this is a significant step in the right direction, and it could also be regarded as a significant move. When you look at it from this perspective, the question is, what exactly does this contribute to? You might be thinking that investors who have never touched cryptocurrencies before might now be leaning toward maybe looking into it because there is some incentive, as you can see across the board. This is something that happens because there is some incentive. With regard to exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and exchange-traded funds, ETPs, I believe that this is a major piece of news that should be taken into consideration. It is my suggestion that we move forward. According to French Hill, the chairman, we have made progress during the months of September and October with regard to the market structure for digital assets and the Clarity Act, which we have successfully passed with the backing of 78 Democrats in the United States. French Hill has claimed that we have achieved this development. We are sorry for the trouble this may cause, but the work that was completed in the House of Representatives in July is currently being completed in the Senate. It is my goal that during the next several days, we will be able to arrive at the realization that they are making tremendous progress. Those in charge of the closure have been made aware of the situation. Therefore, I am looking forward to working with them in order to familiarize you with the desk that President Trump uses, which is situated on the floor that is opposite from where you are currently standing. Consider taking a look at it for yourself since it is so big. Things are happening and people are talking about ETF. You should do this because it is so important. A product that would be extremely successful would be an exchange-traded fund, ETF, for XRP, as stated by the chief executive officer of Bitwise. Hunter claims that there are assets worth $100 trillion that are currently sitting on trade finance, RA, aisles, and will soon be migrating into cryptocurrency. These assets are expected to move into cryptocurrency in the near future. Whoa, you should also be aware that the majority of people will have their first encounter with cryptocurrencies through exchange-traded funds, ETFs, and Hunter is of the opinion that there will be an extremely high demand for further PETFs. Please keep this information in mind. As of right now, DTCC is displaying 11 additional PETF tickers that are active in pre-launch, which is something that we naturally discussed the night before. When it comes to the pricing of the additional item, it is indicating the really exciting price activity that is taking place at the moment. The number of things that are taking place in your life that are of great significance is staggering. In the event that you are not already aware of it, I am going to detail the reasons why I consider the current era to be an interesting one. As a result, if you are contemplating Bitcoin's preeminence, you should be aware that its dominance is not diminishing, as I have mentioned to you several times in the past. At this time, we are not displaying any signs that indicate that we are becoming weaker. Although we did experience a little decrease, which took the overall percentage down to 59.77%, this was only a brief occurrence. On the surface, it seemed as though things were building up steam quite rapidly. Our current percentage is hanging just below 60% at the moment. As you can see for yourself, Bitcoin, on the other hand, did experience a tiny decrease in trading volume. This was a very small part of the plunge. First, let's start by performing a live refresh on the cryptocurrency Bitcoin in order to get a better idea of where it is currently located. However, before I show you where the retracement occurred, let me see where it was able to go back above $106,000 by the time I showed it to you. The information that you were able to see for yourself indicated that we were seated at roughly 106,500 TOT. On the other hand, dominance is not exhibiting any signs of slowing down, which is precisely what we want to see. In spite of this, the price of XRP is displaying a price movement that is generally beneficial. It is probable that this is due to the exchange-traded fund, ETF. What exactly am I attempting to convey to you, gentlemen? Since I am at a loss for words, I ask that you please accept my apologies. How likely is it that this is due to the fact that obviously there are a great deal of... If you are aware of the fact that there are reports circulating that you are aware of the introduction of the extra PETF, then it is possible that this is the reason why you are observing the price of XRP. It is almost certain that a helpful response is the most effective way to respond. However, you ought to take a look at it for yourself personally. The level that I shared with you guys the night before was $2.55, and you are able to see it for yourself. You are aware of this level, and you have the opportunity to view it for yourself. The last time we attempted to test over that crucial range was not too long ago, but each and every time we did so, we were disappointed to find that we were unsuccessful. That is a fairly important level to keep an eye out for, and if we are able to break above this level, we are very close to achieving that level. To tell you the truth, I am of the opinion that we could start to make progress toward reaching the level that we were at on October 27th, which was approximately $2.70. This is also a fairly key resistance for XRP, as you guys are aware, and it is something that we definitely failed to overcome before the 27th of October. It seems to me that we may begin to make our way up to this point. To put it into perspective, you should see for yourself that we were able to get up to $2.57, although at that price point, there were clearly a number of rejections. Oh, you are able to observe that. In fact, all of that ought to be sufficient to persuade you that, this is a very crucial level that you ought to be keeping an eye out for. Looking at the bright side, on the other hand, we can see that this is a new monthly high for the month of November that we have established for XRP, which is a positive indication. This is something that we can see when we look at the bright side. What are your thoughts on this matter? Please share them with me in the comment section below. In spite of the fact that Bitcoin is not where I would like it to be at the present, I am content with the system that is currently in place here. However, as you are aware, steady advances are made back up toward